got deliveries. People want to give me some Benjamins. We're going to collect them. Here we go. So yesterday it rained all day. I did a little bit of video in the morning and then it rained the rest of the day. So I didn't get a lot done here today. And last night I had two people get a hold of me that want wood. The first one is a customer that's bought several loads already this year. He is a reseller. What he does is he buys wood from me, he bundles it and sells it. And he is cutting some of his own wood and accumulating a bunch of wood that he can sell in the future. But right now he doesn't have any stuff that's dry, and he's got a couple customers that want pretty big orders for going camping. So he needs a face cord or a third of a cord today. So I am going to load this up. We're going to take it to him at the end of the day. And then in the middle of the day, what I'm going to be doing is I have a customer for tomorrow morning that wants 3 face cords or a full cord, and he wants oak. I've delivered to him, probably a couple months ago, 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord. He wants a full cord this time, and he wants oak. And I've got logs back over there. So back over there, I've got logs that came in on a log truck that I separated from the big stuff that I processed for boiler wood. And these are smaller ones. It's all barkless. It was cut from dead standing wood. So most of the wood, probably, I would say more than 3/4 of it is dry on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting that whole pile up with the chainsaw. Then I'm going to split it. As I split it, if it's dry, throw it right into the trailer. Because when you split it open, you can tell it's clearly dry on the inside. It's easy to see. So I'll be putting that right into the trailer. And if I need a little more, I can pull from one of my piles. But it's a good way to take care of the wood that's on the ground over there and get it off the ground and get it sold right away. So I'll be cutting, splitting, loading, delivering all in one day. That's awesome to be able to do that, to take wood that's in log form, to be able to cut it, process it, split it, and deliver it right away. So I've done it several times with boiler wood. I've done it several times with campfire wood, with people that want stuff that's I know is dry, and I've cut it and split it and it's good to go. So that's what we're going to do with this load too. So right now we're going to do some chucking. We're going to load the trailer right now. Well, there it is. The load is on, and as I chuck wood in, I kind of look and see what kind of wood it is, and I found, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I saw 8 different kinds. I did see a couple sticks of birch. I don't have any right up here, but I saw a couple pieces of birch. But here's what I got in here. There's a little bit of oak. This is red oak. So you can see red oak. There's a little bit of that. And then there's ash. And you can see here, this is ash bark, ash. That's what it looks like where the worms have done their thing and killed the tree. So these are both ash. There's cherry in here. I saw, I don't know, maybe a dozen sticks of cherry, which is really good campfire wood. I really like it. Then we got elm. You can see the bark, and there you can see the cable-like twistiness of it, the split. So this is elm. There's a bunch of that in there. The next one is box elder. I saw a bunch of that in there, which is real nice campfire wood. It's basically soft maple. And I saw a few sticks of this. Look at that. Apple wood. That's what that is. Now, I don't get very much apple wood. I get very little, and I just throw it in with the mixed hardwood, which is what this is. I did also see some just regular soft maple in here. I don't see any right here, but there was a bunch of soft maple. And that's kind of the stuff that I just throw all in to the mixed hardwood, which is what a lot of people want for campfire wood, because they don't really care what it is. They just want one thing. They want dry wood that will burn today. That's what they want, and that's what this is for. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit is that this is going to a guy that's reselling the wood. Some people would say, well, piece of fuzz went right in my mouth there almost. So a lot of people would say, well, why are you selling wood to a competitor? Because I can. I cannot serve everyone. I have enough customers. I can barely keep up the way it is. There are 4 firewood sellers within 5 miles of me. 5. There's one right over here. So there's one I can see from here. I can see his piles. He's across the highway over that way. Then there's a guy down the road, probably 4 miles, that has been to the wood yard. He sells a bunch of stuff too. He sells logs and sells rounds and does sell firewood also. Then there's another guy that has bought some stuff from me and has bought some stuff from Bert. He is just down the road. Geez, I don't think he's more than 5, 6 miles away. Oh, then there's another one that's got a stand right around down the corner there. They sell a bunch of wood. Then there's my buddy Travis. He's right down the road that way, about 3 miles, maybe 2.5, 3 miles. And he sells probably as much wood as I do. I cannot serve everyone. There's no way I can keep up. There's a lot of competition around here, and that's okay. And those are just the guys that are close by. Then on the other side of town, there's a bunch. On the north side, there's a bunch. On the south side, there's a bunch. So a lot of people would say, well, how come you're, selling wood to a competitor? I'm selling it for the full amount I sell it to, and he's repackaging, he's wrapping it, and then selling it to his customers. I would like to sell all of my wood to someone like that. Same price either way, it doesn't matter. I'd sell it all today. That'd be great because I can replace it. So competition is a thing, but it's not that big of a deal because there's so many people out there that want wood that I can't possibly supply it all because I just do this on the side. I only do a couple hundred full cords a year. And in my area, there's probably, that I can think of off the top of my head, at least 12 to 15 firewood people that have as much business as I do as far as size. If I can see their wood yards, I know what they do. I know how they're doing things. They might be 100 full cords a year. They might be 200, somewhere in that range. There's a bunch of them. And I cannot keep up with what I've got to do now. If I wanted to, I could grow the business tremendously, but I'm happy doing with what I do. If I did a lot more than this, if I doubled the business in a year, which I could easily do with advertising, I could triple it probably in 3 years, 2 or 3 years, it wouldn't be that much fun anymore. It would become a job that I have to do. Now I get to do it. So I got this low down. We're going to throw the tarp on now, so I'll throw these pieces in. So I try to specifically put in pieces that are more bundle grade stuff that's, that looks really nice like this size stuff. This is what most people want for bundle wood. I tried not to have any of the big crotchy ones or great big monster pieces. Because he is reselling this and he's going to be bundling it, I wanted to make sure I got him stuff that he could handle easily and stuff that will work for him right away. Now this is the wood that's off to your right hand side there is some of the oldest stuff that I have. It's a year and a half old, something like that, maybe close to 2. So I'm trying to pick through there and pull out stuff that's going to work for him. And it's really dry stuff. It did get rained on yesterday, so there's a few wet pieces, but it'll all dry off. There we go. So that load is on. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to disconnect this trailer. We're going to park it over there because I'm not delivering this until end of the day. And then I'm going to go over and we're going to get my saws out. I already got my cutting pants on, got my hikes cutting boots on, and we're going to cut up a full cord and get it split into the other trailer, which is really nice to have 2 trailers. If you only got 1 trailer, it kind of limits you. You got to kind of really think things through. But having 2 trailers is awesome. 3 would be even better yet. So if anybody wants to give me a 3rd trailer, I'd take one. But I also have my truck. Worst case scenario is if I have a really busy day coming up, what I've done a lot in the past is I will load up both my trailers the day before and my truck. And then I try to schedule the first delivery right away in the morning with just my truck. I take it home and I can go from there, deliver that 1/3 of a cord, face cord, deliver that, empty the truck out, come here, pick up whichever trailer's next, deliver that, bring that trailer back, hook up the other trailer, take and deliver that, and then come back and then just refill and go again. The most wood I've ever delivered in one day was last fall or the fall before. I had a day where I did 21 face cords. So that would be 7 full cords. And that is 1s, 2s, and 3s, maybe a few 4s in there. 4 face cords or 4/3 of a cord. So, I might have one customer that's going to buy 8 face cords, or what would that be? Almost 3 full cords. Yeah, about 3 full cords. It'd be 2 2/3 full cords. But we do everything by face cords here. I know a lot of you guys get arrested or you get your hands cut off or something if you say face cord, but we go by that here in the Midwest. In lots of Canada, it goes by face cords, which is 1/3 of a cord. So I would deliver like the first one right away in the morning from a full load, come back, fill that one up, go deliver another one. So that's 8 right off the bat. And then I would have my other little trailer ready to go. I'd have 2 in that, go deliver that, come back, load up another 2, deliver that, load up another 2, deliver that, load up maybe a full cord of 3 face cords, deliver that, and then maybe a couple singles at the end of the day. So the most I did in one day was 21. And that one day, 21 face cords at $120 a face cord is, it's a bunch of money. It's not quite $3,000, but it's a bunch. So Be like 2,500 bucks in one day, something like that. But a lot of people think, oh, $2,500 in one day. Well, that's great. Yeah, but there's the cost of the truck, the cost of the trailers, the cost of the saws, the cost of the tractor, the cost of the splitter, the cost of the processor, the cost of buying the wood, because I don't cut all my wood. I buy 3/4 of the wood that I sell. The pile that you see off to the back there and this pile here, this was all free wood, 100% free. All I had to do was cut it, split it, throw it in the bin. So I do get a lot of free stuff, but I also buy a lot of wood. And in 1 year, I'll average 12 to 15 log truck fulls. So if there's 12 full cords on a log truck, and say I buy 10 of them, that's 120. And then if I buy 15, that would be so another 60. So it'd be like 180 full cords I would buy in a year of log cords, and then you cut that down and you lose some because of your cut and debris and bark and all that, and then a bunch of other free stuff. So that's kind of an average year, somewhere around there. All right, enough talking. Let's go hook up the other trailer and go do some cutting. Rock and roll. All right, so I backed up the big trailer over here. I disconnected it. I plugged it in because the battery's getting a little low. I haven't charged it in a while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tractor and the bucket. I'm going to split right into the bucket, the good stuff, and then dump it into the trailer, because that's going to sit there till tomorrow. And the stuff that I split, it's not dry. I'm just going to throw over there to the side. It's kind of what I've been doing. So here's the logs I got to cut up. I've already got the big saw, the 592 HUSQVARNA, my favorite saw, because it cuts fast. I like that. And then I also have the 572, which I really like a lot too. And I'm going to cut all this up, and then we're going to split it, throw the dry stuff in here, the wet stuff over there, and then we're going to dump the dry stuff in the trailer. If I don't have enough, I'll just go out. I got a bin over there that's got dry wood, but I thought this has got to get cut up anyway, and I know it's dry, so I might as well just do it all in one shot. So cut's happening right now. There we go. The cutting for today is complete. Now we got to do some splitting. And I just changed into my tennis shoes. And the reason I'm wearing these, a lot of you might be asking why I don't wear my steel toe boots or my hikes boots all the time. Because I have my right foot, my heel, I have plantar fasciitis or whatever you call it. I've had it for like 9-10 months now. And if I wear boots all day long, by the end of the day, it's like walking on a spike. It's getting better because I've been doing stretching and stuff like that. But if I wear the heavy boots all day long, my feet start hurting. These are Saucony tennis shoes. I also have some Hokas. They have a real high arch. If I wear these, my feet don't hurt. So yeah, I might drop something on my toe, but I guess I'll just sacrifice because my heel's hurting otherwise. So this is what I wear underneath my helmet when I'm cutting. I have a couple different ones. It's like a scarf thing, and I wear it because I don't have any hair and the sweat just runs down in my eyes. So I wear this all the time. So I've got the boots up here drying. I took off my clogger pants. They're right here. These are the clogger zeros. They're there. I think it says it on this side. There it is, Zero Ultras. That's what they are. And I got them up here because it's windy out. You can see the bandana there flying. And then I laid my gloves up here. Because I switched this out. Usually only lasts about one tank and it's soaking wet. So I'm laid it up here so it can dry off. I also have my gloves up here because they're all soaking wet. These are the HUSQVARNA gloves. They got the wrist straps. You can see the fingers are wore out, but I've been using these quite a while. These are my favorite gloves when I'm cutting because they got good grip and they work really nice. The only bad thing is if you're chucking wood, you wear the fingertips out because you got your fingers going across it. And then my Protus helmet I've got up here, and the reason I got it like this is I'm drying it out because it gets all sweaty on the band. It's actually all wet right now. Before I put it away in my case, I let it sit out and dry. So that's what all that stuff is there. I kind of changed out. So over here is the pile that we cut. Now, I don't think this is quite a full cord. I think this is going to be less than a full cord. And I see there's some wet ones in there too. Here's the two saws. I used the 592 and I ran out of gas on that, which I'm glad it ran out because it was getting dull. I hit something. I saw sparks a couple of times. There was some dirt in there or something. And then I started the 572 and finished up. And I'm glad because it was way sharper. It cut way better. So here's all the rounds thrown off to the side. And I'm going to take the moisture meter out and just show you right now. I'm going to test the ends of these where I did the fresh cut, and I'll show you ones that you can clearly see that are dry and some that you can clearly see that are wet, and I'll show you how dry they are. So here's the meter. And like I've said many times about the meter, there's lots of different kinds. They all work. It doesn't matter. 20 bucks, Amazon, you get them lots of places. There's lots of different brands, lots of different people that it's called white labeling. You know, they'll buy the same meter and they put their name on it. They all work. I had $50 ones, $30 ones, $20 ones. They all work just fine. So here we got a piece of wood. Let's check this one right now. This one looks like it's a little wet right there. I can see how dark it is. Let's see what it says. It says, yes, it's very wet, 29% on the inside. Now let's check the outside edge and see what it says. 15. So basically the center is wet, which means it'll dry really fast. Now here's one that looks like it's quite dry. Let's check this one. Let's see what it says. Yep, 15%. Here's another one that looks really dry. Let's check this one out. 15%. Let's check a couple more here. I know there's some more that I saw that were wet. Here's one that looks pretty dry right here. You can see how it's kind of got that checking, and it's got cracks all the way through into where the fresh cut is even. So that means that it's probably quite dry. Let's see what it says. Yeah, 15.5%. Here's another one right here. Let's check this little guy out. You can see here it's got a crack all the way to the middle here. And I can tell by looking at it, yep, look at that, 15%. And that's fresh cut. So it goes to show you that some of these logs are dry completely through. Some of the smaller ones, which is why I separated this because I knew it was dry. Let's check this guy out right here. 14%. Let's check this one out. Oh, there's a wet one, 28%. And then when I split them apart, I'll show you again as I split what they look like when you split them open, because you can clearly see they're darker in the center. So like here's a fresh cut. You can see how that's cracked all the way through. Let's check this one out. See what it says. 14.5%. Let's check this one out. That one's pretty wet. Well, it's 20%. That's not too bad, actually. Let's see. Here's one I can see it's really wet. I can tell just by looking at the texture of it. This is a wet one. Let's see what it says here. Let's stick this in. It's actually not terrible. 22%, so it's not terrible. This one looks pretty dry. Oh, no, it's not. Look at that, 27%. But let's check the outer ring. The outside, 20%. So I might be able to take some of these like this and split off the sides and just leave the center and then chuck the center over into the naughty pile, which is the stuff that's wet. But I'm going to start up the splitter right now. We got the Wolfridge 17 RS right here. Got the bucket right there. So I'm going to fill the bucket and then just dump it into the trailer. And we're going to get all the split right now. And then I know I'm not going to have a full cord here. I can tell just by looking. I mean, if all this was all dry, there might be a full cord, but there's going to be 20% or something like that that's going to be wet, and I'll just chuck it off to the side so it can continue drying. And the stuff that's wet is not terribly wet, because green, red oak, and white oak generally is like 40%, 42%, something like that, fresh cut. And a lot of the stuff, the wettest stuff there is like 26, 27, 28%. So it will dry very fast. And once you get it knocked down and you open that up and you get that fresh surface for it to dry from, here, because we have wind all the time, it's in the open, the wood here will literally dry in a couple months. And that's oak, so pretty awesome. So we're gonna split right now. There it is. The load is on. Now that is not quite a full cord, just a little bit less, but it's dang close. So 4 heaping big loose buckets, kind of somewhat stacked, but yeah, 4 buckets I think is what I put in here, but the last 2 were heapers. They were big, and it's just about enough. So I only have to put a little bit in, and I'll do that tomorrow. Everything else is cleaned up. I put all the wet stuff over here. There was some here before, but there's probably a face cord here that was wet stuff, and then I cleaned all this off. As you can see, that's all nice and pretty now. It'll stay like that for maybe a day or 2, then we'll mess it up again. And then all the chunks I threw into my truck because I'm taking these home because I'm getting low on my campfire wood, and that's what I burned, a lot of these odd chunks and stuff. So most of that is pretty dry, so I'm going to take that home. So right now I'm going to hook up the little baby dumper. We're going to go do a delivery, and then I'm going to go home and unload my wood, and then I'm done for the day. I have returned to the woodyard this evening, and I just hooked up the big dump trailer with all the oak that we cut and split earlier today. By we, I mean me and you. And so I've got it here, and the reason I backed up to this big oak pile right here is that there is not quite enough of wood, this oak, in the trailer that I just split. It's a little short. It's actually probably almost exactly the right amount, but I want to put a little bit extra in. So I backed up to this pile of oak here. I'm just going to throw in a little bit more just to finish it off, and then put the tarp on. And I'm going to be taking this home, parking in my driveway tonight, because tomorrow morning I'm delivering this load. I thought it was tonight, but it's actually tomorrow. I was wrong. First time that's ever happened in the last 5 minutes. All right, let's chuck some wood. There it is. Thing of beauty. It is loaded. I just threw a little extra in. Now I know for sure it's a little bit over a full cord or 3-face cords, because I always like to give a little bit extra. So it is the end of the day. I'm going home. I will be delivering this tomorrow morning. You're going to see that because you're going to come back at 5:30 a.m. because that's when this is going to be dumped. See you then. Good night, everyone.